Yeah, first want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashim Shai. Double honors to the Apostle Els, great millstone that rule well. Salutations to the Akim, teaching the word of sincerity and truth. And blessings to the elect and 1/3 of Israelites scattered worldwide, predestined to be saved. Now, coming for a short lesson. It's not going to be that long. But we're going to watch this clip because we have to understand what's happening now is the fact that, and I was watching, the apostles the other day, and it's true because if you look at the all of these countries now around the world, they're trying to do this digital currency, a central bank with a digital currency, So it's been basically grooming people towards that. A lot of the time in the West and other parts of the world, they've been encouraged to not use cash, to do Apple Pay, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Oh, this is quicker, this is that, Now, remember, the people that are telling you all of this are the same people that enslaved you. Same people that whipped you, lynched you, burned you, hanged you, scalped you. If you're a Gadite, tribe of Reuben, Seminole Indians, massacred them. Okay? Same people that actually did this, all right? And we know that reincarnation is in the Bible, etc. They're the ones that are telling you, oh, do this, do that, blah, blah, blah. This is much better. Oh, no, you don't need your wallet, this, that, and the other. All right? They're priming you for something. All right? So our job here is to warn the lambs of Yahweh Shem Shai, the sheep and the lambs, the elect, Because only the elect is going to make it, man. And 1/3 of our people around the world. Listen, the rest of... Look, Zechariah 38 is talking about Babylon the Great, which is just America, all right? But the people that we do these videos for is the elect and the 1/3, man, all right, that are predestined to be saved. The rest of our people, this is not going to resonate with them. You know why? Because the Lord has shut their eyes and ears. And even though you can see this thing is actually happening and around the corner. Now, watch this clip. And this guy on the right, he's a joke, man. This guy, his name's David Icke. You must have heard of him. Years ago, he came out and said that he is Jesus Christ and all this madness. But there's many things that he's saying in this clip that is absolutely seriously true. All right? And let's get the scripture here. Let's get scripture here. All right? Yeah, because it's our job to actually warn you of these things, man. All right? And what you'll see him do, all right, what you hear, what he says is more or less, scriptures coming to life, man. Their tongue will fall upon himself. That's one, But it's Ephesians chapter 11, not chapter 5, verse 11, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness. So we're not supposed to have any fellowship with them. So if you keep accepting this system and the way it's going, you are in commune with these people. You are in fellowship with these people. That's why it's gonna when the MOTB actually comes out, when this dollar collapses, and then chaos ensues, you're gonna have to have a real spiritual and inclined will to say no to this thing, man. But the ones of us that are in this truth, all right, the ones of us that are in this truth, if we stay in this truth, endure to end, have faith in the Lord, He's gonna give us that. He's gonna keep us from the hour of temptation, which is the MOTB. All right. So I have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. All right. So what does the word reprove mean? To correct, to actually expose. Okay. We're not supposed to have fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness. That's why things like going, to clubs and whatever is a no-no when you're in this truth. Okay? There ain't nothing good in there. Oh, there's some drink or whatever, this, that, and the other. But like Apostle Gabar said, if you go to a club, you might get clubbed. Especially if it's one filled with our wicked people. You might get shot, shanked, and stabbed, man. Alright? So we're not supposed to have any fruitful, communion with wickedness, man, but expose them. Alright, verse 12. Alright, for it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret. And that's how much of a bitch that this devil is, man. He's a bitch, man. Why don't he just come out on national TV and say, listen, I want to enslave the whole world, man. I want to stick something in you, and I want you all to be my slaves. Hey, because when Yahushua comes back in our kingdom, in his kingdom, in our kingdom, we're going to just tell you straight what we're doing to you, man. We ain't going to be no deception, no nothing. All right? All right? If I have a Shark Tank, I'll take one of you of my captives, and I'll say, listen, one of you is going to be rolling in that Shark Tank tonight. I'm going to throw one of you in there. Okay? I'm not going to start hiding it and say, no, I'm not going to do anything to you. That's the difference between our kingdom that is to come, Yahushua's kingdom, and this wicked kingdom, man. This wicked kingdom, they're all doing it behind closed doors. That shows you that they're pathetic, they're weak, they're actors, and it's a so-called new world order. Okay? So that's why you got the UN, which means what? United Nations, So this thing it's not just America, the Edomites, this, that, and the other. All these nations around the world, they've all sold out, man. And they're doing these things that are in secret. All right? Ephesians 5:13. But in all things that are reproved, are made manifest by the light. See, we're going to rule in openness, in fairness, in truth, sincerity, with the law, statute, commandments of the Heavenly Father. We're not going to play good cop and bad cop. All right, with our captives, our slaves. You must be joking. All right, we're going to do things out in the open, man. This is how it's going to be done. All right. Okay, and there's not going to be no protesting, nothing, man. Okay, for whatsoever doeth maketh, for whatsoever doeth make manifest is light. All right, so this kingdom is a place of darkness, of wickedness, but the truth is the light, man. Okay, the truth is the light. Now let's see this clip, because he's saying some things that are quite profound. So let's listen to this.
I think he's going to turn it into a digital payment system with digital currencies. He's got a background in that. And speaking of that, I wanted to get your thoughts on the big story in the cryptocurrency space for the last couple of weeks, which is this 30-year-old MIT grad, Sam Bankman-Fried, bankrupting his company FTX, which was worth $40 billion at one point, down to zero. And this strange response where he's being almost promoted by the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal and people maybe even in government, and yet at the same time seems to have single-handedly destroyed the reputation of crypto. Crypto itself didn't fail, but obviously the manipulation of those assets did fail. What do you see happening here?
Well, the reason I've never had anything to do with crypto is because I could see that the plan was, in this Great Reset, that became known as the Great Reset, to introduce a digital currency controlled by the system so that they can like I said earlier, they can just take what they want. If you're fined, you can't challenge it. It's just taken from your bank account like they do in China. That's the whole point. And therefore, if crypto was genuine, they were going to destroy it because it would get in their way. And what you look at, the red flags, are what the regulatory agencies are doing in response to a situation. Yeah. And if they jump on someone, then they want to destroy them. But if they don't, then that someone is doing something they want to happen. And so you've got this guy, what's his name, Gary Gensler?
Yeah, the SEC.
The head of the...
Let me say this, man. That whole madness, I remember that case of a guy who was, I think he was in the Barbados or the Bahamas, that's it. He was arrested and he had a cryptocurrency company and he lost people millions or whatever. What he's trying to say is that was all staged, and I reckon it is true. All right, to undermine crypto, the whole cryptocurrency market, so people don't have confidence in it, because the word crypto means what? Hidden. Okay, with these central banks, digital currencies, nothing will be hidden. You will be locked into the system. All right, if you run a red light or have a parking ticket, all right, and you get the MOTB, all right, pursuant to Revelations 13 and 16, they'll just take it out of your money. All right, because everything's going to be digital. This is the reason why this devil wants to have electric cars everywhere. He wants the whole thing to be totally electrical. So even if you disobey the government, they'll switch your car off. All right, they can only do that if it's up and running with an electrical grid. All right, because this rubbish, and it is rubbish.
Secure to do
this crap that electric is more environmentally friendly is not true. All right, cobalt, nickel, zinc, lithium. All right, to extract them takes liters of water. So much that over there in Bolivia, which is the tribe of Asha, I think it is, our people. All right, there's a place where they got a factory where they're, excavating cobalt and lithium, and they've basically dried up a huge river because they take over 900 liters per day. Because of the mining techniques for the raw materials to go into your electric car. See? So it's all bullshit, man. Okay? It's all bullshit. It's all about control, man. Okay? And that's why we have to, we're set up to warn you to, what happens, what is coming before it comes. That's what prophecy means, man. To say before. All right, and the ones of you that don't listen, the ones that you that don't like what we're saying, you don't need to watch. All right, if you you don't need to watch. All right, saying this and saying that, complaining about this and that. All you people that are like that, with this information, this is what's it called? A spiritual boot camp, man. All right, this is a spiritual boot camp. Okay, there's certain things and certain scriptures in the Bible, certain sayings that when you're going to be in a time of trouble, you're going to remember them and you're going to act upon them, and then that's going to please the Lord, and the Lord's going to save you. All right, but that won't happen if you don't listen to these videos, man. Okay, be ready more to hear than give the sacrifice of fools. Even today at camp. We had an Elamite, he came up at the end and he asked us what this is about and this, that and the other, etc., etc. We get more heathens coming up to us than our own people. Most of them don't care, but it's our job to warn you. Ezekiel 3:20, again, when a righteous man doeth turn from his righteousness and commit iniquity, sin upon sin, all right, and I lay a stumbling block before them. Okay? So, because of maybe the way a brother speaks, or, yeah, I know what he's saying is true, but I don't like his tone, his attitude, this, that. That's your stumbling block, man. That's, that's going to be the reason why the Lord kicks you out of this truth. Okay? Right? He shall die, because thou hast not given him warning. All right? So if I don't warn our people, the blood is going to be on our hands. All right? He shall die in his sin, and his righteousness, which he hath done, shall not be remembered. But his blood will I require at thy hand. All right? And that's those people that they're in this truth, and then 1 minute they're in the truth, they're like a brother or whatever. The next minute they're gone, man. And we've seen things like that. That's happened in our camp, which is quite scary, actually. And it's the Lord's choice. That's why I say Psalms 51 every day, man. It's just pleading to the Lord to keep us in, Because if you come into His truth and then you just dwindle off, and years ago we had a guy that came up to us in Brixton, and he showed us that he was teaching about the Israelites years ago, 10, 15 years ago, But now he's a normal civilian. In my mind, I'm like, well, why aren't you still doing it now? Yeah, why? It was just a fad to him. But really, that's the Lord's decision. You can't be too hard on these people. The Lord took the Holy Spirit away from him. All right, verse 21. Nevertheless, if thou warn the righteous man, that the righteous sin not, so you turn away from your sins, that the righteous man sin not, and he doeth not sin, he shall surely live, because he is warned. Also thou hast delivered thy soul. So by doing videos like this, I'm warning our people, and Lord willing, my soul will be delivered as well. Okay?
Easier to do, and it's simpler to do, and it's more convenient. Will be registered and known in real time by the system. And again, totalitarian tiptoe. You start with cash, then you move to credit cards. It's more easier to do, and it's simpler to do, and it's more convenient.
Yep.
And okay, you have credit cards, all right, but cash has got to remain. But you don't want cash to remain, you want cash to disappear. So it starts to disappear. They start to take out branches of banks all over the world. This is happening.
Yep.
So you can't go to the bank and deal in cash. They're taking out ATMs all over the world, so you can't get cash. It's a war on cash. Now, what happened, because COVID just keeps on giving, when it started out, it was announced through the World Health Organization, if you remember, very early on, you could get COVID from money, right? So suddenly, in next to no time, I'm asking for a cup of coffee on a little kiosk on the station, and they're telling me I can only pay by card because you can get COVID from money. And all that was to, and it's massively happened so much faster as a result, is to get rid of the use of cash. I was in a supermarket once on the Isle of Wight, Brian, and I wanted to pay cash. And so the guy lifts this little kind of receptacle thing with a handle on it, the checkout guy, and he says, put your money in there, right? I said, well, what's that all about? I knew what it was all about, but what's all that about? Oh, it's COVID. You can get it off cash, right? And there were some members of staff there behind him, and I said, so you can get COVID off money, right? Oh yeah, like paper money, yeah. So why are you selling newspapers? Right? Silence. And you notice how the newspapers emphasized at that time, I was watching it very closely, you can get COVID from money, but you can't get it from newspapers. Well, can you explain why that is? No, I'm not going to explain why. I'm just telling you.
There you go, man. See? All right, the totalitarian tiptoe. All right, meaning they've gradually putting this thing in. That's why, if you look at the country of Sweden, which is in Europe, yeah. All right, and whether you Swedes like it or not, the Vikings were black, man. They were our people, man. All right, and they had a documentary that came out about that, and they were all going mad about it. But it was our people, the Vikings. All right, you were just their slaves, man. Okay. And I've proven that in other ones. You can put Black Vikings over there in Google, all right? Click on images and you'll see the books, all right? And in that country, years ago, they decided that this country is going to be a cashless country. They've pushed this thing so much that I think it was about 5-7 years ago, 80% of all transactions in Sweden happens with the card. You know? If you go to Sweden with cash and pay something with cash, they'll look at you funny. So they're trying to slowly bring this thing in, you know? So if you're not warned, when all hell breaks loose and then they bring in these digital currencies, they say, oh yeah, this is the new currency. Look, this is, oh, don't worry, you're going to get your welfare back. You're going to get your benefits back. You just have to accept this. You see? If you do not know, the plans of your enemy, then you won't know how to navigate out of that plans. So it's the blind leadeth the blind, both will fall into the ditch. Alright? Okay? Do you want to fall into a ditch? And that's what this wicked system is, because the word system means basically pit. Alright? That's what it means. It basically means pit. Okay? So that's a big part of this truth, man. All right, prophecy. Looking things up. All right, where does it match? Oh, there's news on a military build up there, war in Sudan. Let me see that in the scriptures. Oh, the river Euphrates, and I'm gonna do a video on that. The river Euphrates just dried up, man. All right. It's almost completely dried up. Where is that? Revelations 16, verse 12. All right, that's one of the signs before this Third World War, man. All right, because that's how the Third World War is going to be around that area, around that river Euphrates. All right, Battle of Armageddon. Okay, that's going to be the final battle. So if that river is dried up, that's going to make what's it called? An easier pathway for all these armies. All right, as it says, from the east and other places to go there into that Third World War. Okay, and that's happening right now. There's even there's videos of people, because the river's dried up, where water used to be. There's caves there, and there's mad noises coming from there, man. Like real demonic noises, man. Okay? People are trying to figure out what's down there, this, that, and the other. But the river Euphrates is dried up. So those are the things we have to report. Okay? In 2 Corinthians 2:11, least Satan is working with all of these nations. It ain't just the Edomite nations. All of them, man. United Nations. Even our people. Jamaica, Barbados, Sierra Leone, Nigeria. That's why Nigeria, they've stopped the subsidies of fuel. All right. And the Nigerian economy is not good anyway. And they're trying to bring in their digital currency madness and all that stuff. And they basically changed the currency. The bank limited the amount of money that they can get out. It was hell for them, and it still is. Okay, so 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant, all right, of his devices. So his devices is his technology, man, his system. All right, so that's what's coming. So like he said, he's absolutely right. They're doing this gradually. But when this big shock comes, all right, it's going to get worse. A little bit more here.
I'm just telling you, because we want to get rid of cash, because our masters want to get rid of cash, but we don't want you to stop buying the newspaper, all right? It's insane. The world's insane. It's a madhouse. And once you realize it's a madhouse, it all makes sense. It's when you think you're trying to work out why things are happening and why things have some level of sense about them. That's when you get your nook cooked. When you realize it's a madhouse run by lunatics and psychopaths, then everything falls into place and you can see what's going on.
Hey, it's Brian.
There you go. Lunatics and psychopaths. And that goes, beautifully with the scriptures. And that's what they are, man. They're a bunch of crazy people, man. The people that are at the top. But the Lord has gave them, all right, this earth in this time, all right, just before his kingdom, because it's going to be a contrast, man. You know, this wicked place, all right, and the disgusting things in it. And listen, we all fall short, you know. Brothers and sisters have trouble in the flesh. You know what I mean? You know, it's not easy being this truth. We were talking about that earlier today. That you know, with your family, it's nothing to really talk about at long lengths because we're on a different path than them. So you get what I mean? What really matters to us doesn't matter to them, you know? So that's why just try and live peacefully with your family and the small time you have, you know? And he's right, they're psychopaths, but the Lord has given them the earth because of prophecy, all right? Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And it was given to you, man, all right? Like in that X-Men film, Apocalypse, you know, they're trying to mock Yahushua, you know, the God of the mutants. He goes, the weak have taken the earth. No, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And the wicked, these Edomites, they have conquered other nations, all right, and implemented their system into these other nations, or many of these other nations have willingly cooperated with them. So either one, they have committed fornication with this harlot, man. All right, this beast system, and I'm gonna do a video and go into that, you know, probably tomorrow. Okay, so at least we know in the time we're in now. All right. And this is a lesson for me as well, because I find it so hard to, do things like this if I've got, you know, things going on, pain in my body and just that, can't sleep and stuff. But boy, the time we're in, I'm telling you, man, we have to use our time wisely. When I don't use the time wisely, you know, I really hate myself for it. All right. This is Ephesians 5:15. See then that ye walk circumspectly. All right. Not as fools, but as wise. All right. And the wisdom comes from this truth, you know, and breaking it down the right way. You know, asking questions is cool. It's fine. That's what we're here for. But I've noticed that the more I've been in this truth, especially since the so-called scamdemic, I know that the gates of mercy are closing, man. You can see it. You can see it winding down, you know? So, not as fools, but as wise, okay? So we have to be wise. Verse 16, redeeming the time because the days are evil. There you go. So we have to redeem the time. Remember, how I said, the harvest is plenty, the laborers are few. Okay? And that's a deep thing to say, man. The laborers are few. And it's true. So we have to labor. So I'll leave it at that. I'm going to try and get some sleep now. And I'll definitely try and do another video tomorrow. You know? So yeah, anyone, any questions or anything like that, you can leave comments or whatever. You know, it's okay with me, but believe me, this thing is coming, man. All right, this thing is coming. Let me show you one more. This piece of shit, man. And Joe Biden, he's a joke, man. He's a joke, man. All right, he's an absolute joke, man. All right, no one takes him seriously. Okay, and all right, but look when he was younger. All right, this is what he said. Look.
Our constitutional journey did not stop then, and it must not stop now, Judge. And we'll be faced with equally consequential decisions in the 21st century. Can a microscopic tag be implanted in a person's body to track his every movement? There's actual discussion about that. You will rule on that, mark my words, before your tenure is over. Can brain scans be used to determine whether a person is inclined toward criminality or violent behavior? You will rule on that. And Judge, I need to know whether you will be a justice who believes that the constitutional journey must continue to speak to these consequential decisions, or that we've gone far enough in protecting against government intrusion into our autonomy, into the most personal decisions we make. Judge, that's why this is a critical moment.
I'm Greg Secker.
Now, did you hear what he said? You will rule on that. Mark my words. You will rule on that. You know?
Our Constitution.
And that was when he had his cognitive functions, man. He's a joke now, man. How many times has he fallen? You know? And that shows you that the Lord is just showing you that this wicked empire is finished. He gave you a clown. He gave you a TV reality star for a president. And then he took him out of the way and gave you this joke, man. You know, who's fallen about 5 times. You know, and basically he represents America. He's the king of America, right? So let's just say this was in the Middle Ages when we were ruling. We had kings. So who will be the king of America today? Joe Biden. Look at your king, man. Look at your king. Look at your king. You know, he tripped over a sandbag, and even the soldiers that he was at West Point, they were graduating, they were all laughing. And you know what? Usually, you know, they'll have respect for the president and laugh and then, you know, kind of cover their mouths. But they were hysterically laughing. Like, this is just a joke, man. All right? And that shows you what the Lord is doing. He destroyed you already. The Lord has got you in his back pocket. Having a joke like this, man. All right? And he knows what's going on. And he's deep in it, all right? So we're not supposed to have any fellowship with them. So when it comes to the MOTB, all right? See, that's why it says he calls of all, right? If all these nations are independent, let's just say a nation's independent, right? He says, listen, I'm not gonna be a part of this, that, and the other. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that. Hang on. Why is it that all these nations are signed up to the UN? How come half of those UN nations, you know, and I'm gonna bring out articles because Apostle Hard mentioned this in a street teaching he did the other day. I'm gonna look up some articles on it and bring it out in a video this week, Lord willing. That many countries, about well over 100 countries, have agreed to have a digital central bank currency, you know? So, like Apostle Hart said, he said this and it's true. Well, all of a sudden they just popped out in the last couple of years and said this will be a good idea. No, this has been in the works for a long time. Totalitarian tiptoe, man. Even Iran. Once I went to camp and we was in Oxford Street, whatever, and I had to go to the underground. And the woman next to me, I was sitting in the underground. The woman next to me, she just started talking to me. And she was from Iran. And she said to me, and I said to her about, you know, it used to be a secular country, but then you had, you know, the whole siege and you had the Islam. And you know what she said to me? And then after that, it was Islamic Republic now. You know what she said? She goes, all of that stuff the Islamic Revolution in Iran in the late 70s, 80s, that was all staged by the Americans. They're the ones that did all of that. They actually created an enemy for themselves, you know. And I believe that as well, because it's the same thing with China. America has made China. All right, and you can see it online. You can just go online. All right. The deal, like China, where is it? Yeah, China. Production. With America. All right, because I think it was in the early 70s. America did a deal with China. So they kind of, like now, like, look, I just Googled it, it would say, why is the US so ridiculously dependent on China? All right. But if you go back in time, basically America made China. Because they were a manufacturing power. And notice in the late 60s, 70s, all the manufacturing places in America, down south and up north, closed down. All right. And they gave the contracts to China. And that's what China back then was, a very poor country, man. All right. That's why in that period of time, Bruce Lee was on the scene. You know, they used to look at Chinese people like they're nothing, this, that, and the other. The prosperity China has now, America made it. Now they're doing this basically to fulfill prophecy, man. You know, and for them, it's for their new world order agenda. But for the Lord, it's for the prophecy of the last time. Because at the end of the day, all these nations are against us. And that's why when Yahushua comes back, they're all going to stop fighting each other in the Federal War and try and fight him. In 1 hour, they're going to be taken out, man. And America's going to be destroyed. So in the next video, we're gonna touch on that a little more, you know. But I'll read one more scripture. So, cause where is all this leading? You know, it's leading to that hour of temptation, man. Okay. And I didn't want to make it as long as it did, but sometimes you just have to, you know, spirit goes like that. Let's see now. Revelations. You know? And that's why we you know, we have to do more lessons on this stuff, this, that, and the other. You know? Blah, blah, blah. There's a reason why the Lord wants us to actually go into this stuff, man. Alright? There's a reason. Proverbs 20:24, man's goings of the Lord. All right. Yeah, Revelation 13 and 16. He causeth all. So it says all. It doesn't say some. You know? It doesn't say, oh, he causeth just the Hamites. All right. It doesn't say that. He causeth just the Moabites. No. He causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hands or in their forehead. Okay. There you go. All right. That no man might not buy and sell, save he that had the mark. Okay. Or the name of the beast, or the name, or the number of his name, man. Okay. So we know that this prophecy is more or less around the corner. All right. So I hope that edifies the hopeful elect and the 1/3. We give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone that were well. Salutations to the Akim teaching the word in sincerity and truth. And blessings to the elect and 1/3 of Israelites scattered worldwide. Pray to be saved. Shalom.